So let's talk a little bit more now about teachers, and let's be an advocate for teachers. That's your heart, that's my heart, and uh, they are such an important part of our society. Talk to us a little bit about advocate for teachers just a little bit in a general sense. You have overall, but some specifics. The heart of the teacher. We can't really paint everything with a broad brush, but I agree that the majority of teachers out there are in it for the right reason wherever they're working. And let me just say this. Noah Webster Educational Foundation, we are about education, period. It's not about public school. It's not about private school or faith-based schools or charter schools or home schools. All of these are important parts of the dynamic of education in this country.
Yes.
They all have their place. And our interest, our hope is that all of them can get better, because as education improves, it makes us a stronger country. It equips our young people for life, and as they are better equipped for life, it serves the whole of society. So advocate for a little.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of teachers. I'm a huge fan of teachers. As the founding pastor of our church, and it's a small to mid-sized church. I mean, 300 members is not huge, but over the past 15 years that we've been a church, we have donated $250,000 to educational issues like teacher resources, teacher appreciation days, bikes to kids, whatever it may be, landscaping outside of schools. And so I am a huge fan and a huge advocate of our teachers, whether it's a homeschool teacher, a private school teacher, a public school teacher. We all have the exact same agenda and we have the same mission. And that is to see these young people that are struggling in a very difficult culture. I believe as a student, our students today are less equipped, resourced, and going through much more socially, culturally, relationally, financially than I was when I was a student. I think kids just have it very difficult right now. And what they need are teachers and parents and people in their lives that are positive role models and influencers. And so again, I'm a fan. I think that to advocate for teachers is to make aware. I think it's an awareness issue and a communication issue. I think the average parent, the average person, again, has a misperception. I wrote a blog, and it's on my website, pastorunity.com. I wrote a blog, and one of my blogs one time was teachers get paid too much. And of course, that was just a shock and awe to get people to read it. My wife is one of the hardest working people I know. And for years, and I'm not exaggerating, she would leave the house at 6:30 in the morning as a public school educator. And there are times during the week, the earliest she would be home is like 6 at night. There are times she'd be home at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. There were a couple times she were coming home at 1 or 2 in the morning. Listen, she was really working. When a school is going through certain things and certain transitions, a teacher just doesn't teach in a classroom. They have other responsibilities. They have bus duty. They have lunch duty, cafeteria duty. They have band and drama rehearsals. They have performances sometimes that are out of district and sometimes even out of state, sports, prom duty. My wife just did prom duty. She works all day and then she does prom duty at night. Being an educator is a tough job. And the pay doesn't change. You don't get bonuses for these things. You're not paid hourly. And yes, you have the summers off, but again, your pay reflects that. And so I just think it's an awareness. I would love people to read that blog. I think it, because I give it an indication of what the hours are and what they do each day. I just think folks just need to sit down, maybe even and talk to a teacher and, give me an idea of what your day looks like. Teachers are amazing, in my opinion. They're one of our absolute heroes. And we have heard so much through the pandemic, rightfully so, about first responders. We absolutely need to put the spotlight on our teachers because they don't have any control. If their school district says at day one of the pandemic, we're doing in-person instruction, those teachers had to be there. I served as a substitute teacher October, November, and December in the midst of this pandemic when it was really scary and the numbers were very high in Virginia. And I was serving as a substitute teacher because teachers were scared and they were calling in. I don't want to go in. I can't go in. I have the COVID. My husband has COVID. And so there was this huge surplus, a vacuum that was created, and kids didn't have teachers. And so I jumped in there and put a mask on, and I did what I needed to do, like Martin Luther in the Reformation during the bubonic plague. Our kids are at need. And so, I just think even through the pandemic, our teachers were highlighted. They're not doing what they're doing for the money. They're doing what they're doing out of a love for kids. And we need to encourage them. We need, as not just parents, but as a society, advocate for better pay, for better benefits, for more teachers, for continuing education for our teachers, to work on scheduling so that a teacher isn't there for 12, 14 hours a day, eating lunch while they're walking down a hall. There's a lot of reform, I think, that needs to take place to really have our teachers respected and appreciated for who they are and what they do.